Hey guys, it's Scott with Scottie B Cards, and in this video, I want to talk about the cards in my collection that have the coolest stories behind them. So the goal of this video is I want to pull the cards out of my own personal collection that have a good story behind them, or they have really big sentimental value to me. And I want to explain the story behind them, how I got them, how much I paid for them, all these different things, so you can hear about these cooler cards in my stories that took a long time to hunt down. One of the things in the hobby that is the most exciting is the thrill of the chase, in my opinion. There are times where sometimes just trying to find the card, buy the card, make the deal, get the card can be even more exciting than even owning the card at times. That's kind of part of like the gambling aspect you have to be careful with. But regardless, I do have some cards I want to share that are worth a decent amount of money that did take a long time, and there's a lot of twists and turns in the stories behind them. So here are 5 cards and 2 honorable mentions from my personal collection that I wanted to share with you all in this video today. All right, here are those cards I was talking about. The very first one is going to be a honorable mention. Actually, the first 2 will be honorable mentions. This first one is a 2020 Panini Hoops Jerry West. I actually pulled this with my father during COVID when everything was going crazy. We somehow hit a restock and bought a few packs and blaster boxes of hoops, just the basic hoops product, and we hit this Jerry West autograph together. It's a PSA 7 and probably is the accurate grade because all the corner and edge wear, and it's a very black fine card that gets shipped easily, but it means a lot just because it was pulled with my father. We didn't have many times growing up we opened cards together, so that was a lot of fun. After that, this is the only other childhood card I have on this list, but this is a 2007 Bowman LeBron James Gold. This is out of 99. This is number 1 of 99. On the front, you might be wondering why it's a PSA 6. It actually looks pretty good on the front, but on the back, you can see, 10-year-old me really did not take care of this card. I was actually 12, so I was 12 years old when this came out when I pulled it, and this was one of the coolest cards ever for me. Unfortunately, because it's not the chromium version, it's not really worth more than $100 to $200. The chromium versions are worth a lot more than that, the golds from this set. But either way, still means a lot because I pulled it myself out of a pack and I kept it, not in great condition of course, but I kept it and got it graded. But here we go to the actual top 5. These top 5 have significant meaning to me. The very first one is going to be this Zach Greinke. This is 2002 Bowman Chrome Draft Refractor out of 300. The reason I like this card in particular is because I was visiting home in Idaho and I went to a card shop and this was just sitting in the case for like $30. And this card goes for like $500. And so I was able to buy this for a very low price. I'm a huge Zach Greinke fan, so that is why I've always loved this card, and I have a very hard time parting with this card just because of, how I found it. It was such a good deal and everything in between. This next one, this one is an interesting story. So this is a Mike Trout Topps Update card. Looks very like just a regular Topps Update card, maybe slightly overgraded potentially because the centering might not be a 9.5. It's pretty close. I think it's pretty accurate. But this one, I was scrolling through eBay. I have a saved search alert for 2011 Topps Update. And this saved search result is actually looking for complete sets. And I just want to get the complete set without Trout, so that way I could finish it one day by buying this card, because I couldn't afford this card in 2019 to 2021 because it was so expensive. It's dropped a ton now. It's lost a lot of its luster, and that's okay. There was a 2011 Topps Series 1, Topps Series 2, and Topps Update complete set listed for $45. And I thought that was a very interesting listing because it said it was all the series. And so I thought, okay, well, there's a Hail's Mary chance that we're actually going to have a Mike Trout in there. So I bought it for $45 and I got it in. And actually when I got in, I was waiting for it to be delivered, and the delivery, I was waiting by the front door because I was working from home during COVID and I was excited, and they didn't deliver it. And the guy, I saw him drive past, so I chased him down, and eventually I was able to get it from the mailman. I went home and I opened it while I was on a work call, and sure enough, this card was in there. But not just this card. I had the 2011 Series 1 and Series 2 set, plus a bunch of parallels from Topps Update of rookies of like Charlie Blackmon, JD Martinez, a bunch of other great players, autographs, black parallels, a bunch of crazy stuff, including this Trout. So I got it graded with BGS, got a 9.5, and now because of that, it's one of the most memorable cards for me in my collection right now. And even if this card goes from $1,200, $1,500, what it was worth, maybe even $2,000 during the peak when I had it, even if it's only a couple $100 now, I still think it's great. So that card does mean a lot to me. After that, we have a 2014 Topps Finest Superfractor of Jose Ramirez. This card is obviously special because it's one of Jose Ramirez's best cards in existence, yes. But The other main reason I love this card is because I've always been a Jose Ramirez fan. He's potentially a future Hall of Famer. He's about 45 WAR through his age 30 season. So if he has a traditional aging curve and has about 20 more WAR, he will be a 65 WAR player by the end of his career. So there's definitely a chance that could happen. Obviously, he could fall off a cliff and not make it, but we're going to move forward with the assumption that he does, right? That's kind of my thoughts, and I've always felt that way about Jose Ramirez. He was very much under the radar, even though his analytics, traditional and advanced, were all very impressive. He was a good defensive player, base runner, good hitter, switch hitter, and all of this. So he had everything that I liked when I was speculating on cards and players. And so I believe in like 2019 or 2020 or even early, I can't remember when it was, but this entire rainbow, including the atomic out of 5, including the magenta out of 15, including the red out of 25, gold out of 50, black out of 99, green out of 199, and so forth, all the way up to the unnumbered X fractor and the refractor and the orange hot box refractor, was listed for like $500 or $600. And I talked the guy down, or tried to talk the guy down to like $450, and he wouldn't do it. And then the card sold. And so I was just like, oh, that listing was gone. And I thought it was gone forever. Well, it pops up again for, I think, $2,000 or best offer. And I submitted a few best offers to the seller, and none of them, they're all auto rejected. I was around $900 for this card. And then one day it sold for $950 best offer or something around that price. And for a second time, I was just not really devastated, but really sad. And then at that point, I realized how much I actually wanted this particular card. And I never thought I'd have a chance at it again. And Jose Ramirez is having a great year when I bought this a year or two ago. And one night before bed, I was just scrolling through eBay, and I have superfractor 1 of 1 saved, and this card was there. And at the time, it was graded now a SGC 9, I believe is what it was. And it was $14.99 or best offer, and it was listed late that night. And it was probably around, I don't know, 10 or 11, maybe even later. So I submitted an offer from $14.99 down to, I think, like $12.50 is what I submitted. And I sat there thinking about it, and I thought, if someone buys this for $14.99 and I was just trying to get it for $150 cheaper, even though I want this card so bad and I'm so excited it's here, I will regret it horribly. And so I just bought it that night around midnight after just sitting there staring at it on my phone and waiting for a response. And that's how I ended up with this card. And so for me, it's probably my favorite, or one of my favorite cards that I own. And that's why I am so fond of Jose Ramirez as a player. I still love Jose Ramirez. It's not a guarantee he's going to make the Hall of Fame, but regardless, I love this card. Next up is an Albert Pujols 2001 Bowman Chrome autograph. This card I picked up at the Sports Card National this year from RBI Crew 7. They are, I believe, in St. Louis, and I follow them on Instagram, and they're a great group of guys. But this particular card, I saw them post on their story, and I thought it was awesome because it's rare you have an autograph that's this bold of Pujols. He had a couple different types of autographs that year. Some of them you could tell he spent more time on, other ones he was just trying to get done. And some of them are streakier, some of them are bolder, some of them have faded, but this card has not been in the light very much. I even hate having it out right now while I'm filming this video because the autograph's bold and I don't want it to fade. But regardless, they had this card. And I had a bunch of stuff with me that I brought that I really wasn't wanting to move, including like a Mike Trout Bowman Chrome autograph refractor from 2009 Bowman Chrome, his best rookie auto. Not really a rookie, but you know what I'm saying. And I had a bunch of other cool cards that I liked, but they weren't necessarily my favorite. The thing that I didn't realize though is the moment I took those cards with me, it showed me that I was ready to move those cards. And I was walking around the show floor and I found a guy who was trying to sell Ohtani cards. And he was very interested in trading his Ohtani rookie autographs for my Mike Trout Bowman Chrome autograph. At the time when that happened, I didn't really want to do it because I knew Ohtani was like at an all-time high, and I was right at the National right before he got injured. The Angels missed the playoffs. All of that happened. But I took his number just in case, and I didn't plan on making the deal. I was still thinking about it, but never really decided. Well, I then decided to go check out RBI Crew 7's booth, and I went over there and I saw this Pujols, and I gave him all my cards. Hey, would you want to trade? I'll trade you this Mike Trout for that Pujols. And they weren't interested, just whatever purpose. So then I showed him the blue Topps Chrome PSA 9 Shohei Ohtani autograph, the picture from the night prior, and they were interested in that for the Pujols plus like $1,500. I called the guy. I made the trade for the Shohei Ohtani for the Mike Trout. It was the Mike Trout for the Shohei Ohtani and a little bit of money, not much at all. And then I went over and I made the trade instantly for this card from the Shohei Ohtani. And that's how I ended up with this card. Another cool thing about this card is I came to find out that this card is actually the autographs. This is the Bowman Chrome autograph that they actually used for the reprint in 2011 Bowman Chrome. So it's cool to see Beckett authenticate it, plus Top saying this was, one of the autographs that Pujols did, because there is some weird autograph stuff going on with this card. And regardless, it's cool to see it now on a bunch of reprints across the hobby. And the last card is going to be a 1951 Bowman Willie Mays. It's unfortunate the print line's right on Willie's face, but regardless, it's a good looking card. It's relatively, has decent corners, and centering slightly off. It's a BVG4. BVG is not necessarily the most sought after grading company. Obviously, PSA is going to be better, and maybe even SGC in this case, than a Beckett grading company for a vintage card. But regardless, it is a nice 4. And the story of this card is a little bit more interesting, because I decided that I wanted to get this card. I wanted this card and the Mickey Mantle, and I wanted to complete the 51 Bowman set because it's probably my favorite set of all time. It's one of the top 3 for me. I love the art, I love the design of the card, and I think they did a great job with them. So I could not find them on eBay. There's actually one that I thought I won on auction, and it turns out I lost by like $2 and went for like $2,500 at the time, because these were cheaper back then, and I was really disappointed that I missed out on that card. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go on to Net45 or Net54, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a site for vintage sports card trading, and no one had this card that they were wanting to move. No one wanted to move this card. I couldn't find one for a decent price on eBay that was lower grade, that actually made sense based off of auction prices. And so I decided to call local card shops. I could not find them anywhere, and I started to try to find them in other locations, and it was just one of those weird times where this card was not popping up, was when I wanted it. So then I decided to call one more local card shop. I spoke to them, and he said, yeah, we don't have that card, but I do know a guy who used to have it. His name is blank. He lives in blank. I'm not going to say where, because, that's his privacy, and that's what happened. I said, okay, thank you. So I looked up that person's name online in that city, and sure enough, there was an article written about him, with him holding the card, and this exact card, and I knew I found someone who had a Willie Mays. And obviously I didn't know if he wanted to sell it. The guy at the card shop mentioned he would sell it, but I didn't know if he really wanted to, and so I decided to reach out to him. The problem is I didn't have a phone book for that place, and I didn't want to pay for any way of getting his number, but my sister lived in that same city, so I called her. She was able to access the phone book. I got the guy's number, and I called him, and we were able to work out a deal for this card. He had just had some medical emergency, and so I worked with his wife to actually get the card, and then we met up one day and I traded for it, and it was very nice of him and her. So thank you to the both of you. I appreciate it, and this is now one of my favorite cards. I bought it outright, and he gave me a very, very fair price, and this is one card I will never sell no matter what happens, because of the price he gave to me and because of the sentimental value that it has to me. But yeah, so those are some of my very favorite cards and the story behind them. Not necessarily my most valuable cards overall, but still some of the coolest and most meaningful to me in the sports card world. Other than that, let me know if there's any cards that mean a lot to you and the story behind them below. I know we all would love to hear it, and I will see you in the next video.